Hi there, Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's time to have a look and see what is going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for February 2022. And just a quick reminder, if you ever want to get a session with me, you just need to go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com, or you can follow the links in the down bar below. And don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe. Comment even, because, any kind of engagement helps this channel out a lot. And let's move on. Housekeeping over. Let's talk about what's going on with February. So February is, as I've been saying to everybody, an overwhelmingly positive month. And that actually means something coming from me because I'm not afraid to tell you otherwise. And we have this wonderful sense of a big break for everybody that is sort of just washing over not only January, but the last few years, more than the last 2 years. We're talking about probably the last 3 or 4. And a big part of this is going to be, emphasized by a special event we'll talk about later in the video. But a lot of this is going down in your 4th house of home, family, and your roots, as well as the domicile and home-based business operations and home economy, and your 5th house of love, romance, creativity, recreation, and parenthood. Of course, it's not all centered around these things, but a big part of this month is. And that's because we've got Venus direct in Capricorn, that 4th house, all month long. We've got Mars there all month long. And we've got Mercury there direct from the 3rd through the 14th. And so Venus, the planet of love, affection, popularity, and favor in the 4th house of home, family, your roots, domicile, again, home-based economy, home-based business. This is going to be a month where a lot of you Libra people get a chance to really live it up, right? There's this moving on up kind of feeling coming to this area. In fact, Venus tends to infuse our living situation and our home economic status with a lot of luxury. Now, you may be finding that this is going to be a time where not just you, but your household, your family, partners, things like that are thriving because of newfound favor or newfound generosity coming your way, better business coming your way, investments are starting to really show their worth. And with Venus here, we're also attracting a lot of new opportunities to generate wealth within the home. This is also going to be a great time for any kind of family connections or family relationships, because Venus here is, of course, bringing in more demonstrations of affection, trust, and loyalty. This is a great time to reconnect with relatives, or maybe reconnect with those you consider to be family, right? If it's not bloodkin, it may be chosen family. You're also going to find that Venus is giving you a lot of support when it comes to any kind of transformations that you are trying to make when it comes to just how and where you live, right? And I've already put up a video all about the importance of environmental alchemy and how our environment transforms and co-creates with us. This is going to be a time where Venus is really going to work here to get the most out of it. You are also going to find that this is going to have a tremendous effect on your love life, because Venus in the 4th house is a time where, we're starting to plant new roots with partners. Some of you may find that this is the month where the opportunity to move in, cohabitate, start blending a bit with romantic partners is definitely on the table. And those of you who may be even looking for new relationships or new relationship partners may find that new partnerships are going to be showing up, in the neighborhood, close by where you frequent, home and work, maybe even meeting people through family. Or if you've been in something more long distance, closing the gap and bringing that person closer to home. We also have Mars here, the planet of action, energy, passion, and obstacle clearing, going hard at work at clearing and eliminating any kind of old cobwebs, old unfinished business, or old negative legacies or negative stories and narratives that have existed or continue to exist or, habitate in your space. Now, whether this has to do with old narratives or old stories that are of a financial nature, things that maybe run in the family, or old family challenges, barriers, conflicts, and things like that. Mars is going to, of course, be going out of its way to make sure we find some permanent solutions to these issues, because Mars doesn't want to just make it comfortable to live with it, but deal with it. And so you're going to be finding that we are getting on top of a lot of these things. You know, if there's any kind of pervasive or ongoing challenges in the home, or even as it relates to the home economic situation, or again, just the structure of the space, the layout of the space, the environment, it's all getting that Mars treatment with a bit of that extra sugar laden by Venus. Now, however, this will also create some challenges every once in a while, because Mars will also show us where we need to be putting most of the work in. And sometimes that can point us to uncomfortable spaces, expensive spaces, or just labor-intensive spaces in our home life, or with our home-based business, or with family. But this is all in the interest of, again, sustainable solutions, moving everyone on up. Mercury here is going to also be speeding up productivity in this area. You may be finding that if there is some kind of household or family goal that we've all been working towards, really saving towards, really putting a lot of our extra time and energy into, we're going to start to see the fruits of those labors really start to manifest throughout the course of the first half of February. This can also be great news for those of you that are looking to maybe open up lines of communication with family members that we've lost touch with, or you'd like to get closer to friends and closer to other households that you do feel like you have that strong sense of family, that strong sense of tribe with. And you're also going to find that with Mercury here, it's even possible to start speeding up productivity with some big major moves that you would like to maybe precipitate for yourself, or for one of your kids, or something that you know is going to transform the atmosphere as well as the sense of well-being in your home. And so all around a gorgeous, gorgeous month. You know, it's kind of like we're giving the entire castle a big renovation and makeover in all respects. We also have the sun in Aquarius the first half of the month. The sun will be in your 5th house of love, romance, creativity, as well as recreation and your relationships with your kids or parenthood. And the sun is bringing in, right, attention, enhancement, and support here, which is allowing for you to bring a lot more fun, levity, and enjoyment into this area of your life. If it feels almost as though maybe certain relationships, whether they are relationships with collaborators and friends, right, creative or recreational pursuits, relationships with our kids, or maybe even romantic relationships, have kind of become almost more like work, right? Efforting, too role absorbed, too task oriented, not enough inspiration, stimulation, bonding, and levity. The sun is really going to be doing you a solid here, because that's what the sun is here to do. This is also a time where we're seeing not only more play, more inspiration, a lot more adventure coming through partners, coming through our kids, coming through collaborators, but we're also seeing a lot of investment in these relationships being demonstrated in very sweet and very consistent ways. And this is something where a lot of you Libra people are going to be finding that a lot of old shadows, or again, a lot of old cobwebs, seems to be the theme of the month, clearing out the cobwebs. That's going to also be going to work here, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be enjoyable. We're also going to be attracting a lot more interest to ourselves. You know, for those of you who are single or are available looking for new people, the sun in the 5th house is also going to bring in people that you're not only going to be compatible relationship partners with, but we also have that good, strong friendship aspect to it, which is crucial, right? If we want something to last, we have to also be good friends. And that element is also going to be infused into your relationships with your kids and your relationships with your existing romantic partners if you are in a committed relationship right now. We also have Mercury moving into this area of your chart after the 14th, where he will remain through March. And with Mercury in the 5th house of love and creativity and romance and recreation and parenthood, we're going to be speeding up developments in all of these relationships and pursuits, right? Speeding up the evolution process. And so if it feels almost as though like a creative project or maybe a recreational pursuit or a pleasure pursuit that you have just doesn't seem to be growing. It hasn't seemed to evolve or produce any kind of yield that is satisfying or feels proportionate to the amount of effort we put in. Mercury is helping us to turn that around because remember, productivity, haste, and speed is what Mercury is all about. This may give you a chance to demonstrate or debut a creative project or pursuit with a new crowd, or it may open up availability with those you want to make an impression on and get support in that way. Relationship developments are also going to be speeding up at this time because Mercury is also bringing in more opportunities for an intellectual bond to evolve with a current partner or with somebody new, something that's going to be more stimulating, creating more of a focus on that meeting of the minds as well. And this is going to not only create a meeting of the minds, but the opening of minds, the opening of creativity. How do we become more inventive with this relationship? How do we reach for higher heights with this relationship? New people are also going to be providing those opportunities as well. And you may also notice that a shift in tone and as well as a shift in the content of the dialogues with your kids is also going to be quite pleasantly surprising because we are also developing that strong friendship aspect with them as well. And things are maturing in a way where we are able to be a lot more free and more open and more vulnerable with each other. After the 18th, we've got the sun moving into Pisces, where the sun will remain well into March. Pisces is your 6th house of work, your reputation, your schedule, as well as your teams, your availability, the people you work with, and the services that you're putting out there. With the sun in the 6th house, it's an opportunity for us to reap the rewards of a newfound appreciation for what we are putting out into the world, what we are being known for. And it's possible, yes, with the sun here, that this newfound appreciation suddenly turns into a bit of a 15 minutes of fame kind of moment for you Libra people. Because when things are suddenly newly appreciated, they're also given a great deal new value. And very much like the Virgos, you may be finding that you are having your circle professionally transform into one that is much more conducive and much more harmonious for you, both when it comes to the teams and the people you're able to interact with, as well as the clients and the customers and just the base that you are normally used to attracting into your life. You are getting not only more value and appreciation from them, but you're also getting to work more consistently with the people you work best with. We also have a special event this month, which occurs on the 17th. Well, it's exact on the 17th. It's a wide window, so we're actually going to be feeling this from the 12th of the month through the 22nd. But in a technical sense, the exact aspect occurs on the 17th, and that is Jupiter in Pisces in that 6th house of work, reputation, schedule, right? Your clientele, your teams, forming a beautiful sextile to Uranus in Taurus, which is your 8th house of shared resources, passive income, as well as intimacy, self-generated income, self-employment monies, investments, and yes, even a bit of your erotic life, your sensual life. But this does feel like, for the vast majority of you Libra people, this is going to be focusing more on the practical, more on the money side of things. Because Jupiter, the planet of abundance, novelty, luck, and expansion and wealth, is reaching over. That's what happens in a sextile. A planet reaches from one house to lift up another planet in another house. Reaching over from your 6th house of work to lift up your 8th house of passive income and self-employment monies, money that you're making outside of an hourly or salary income. And because Uranus, the planet of innovation, revelation, experimentation, and spontaneity is activated by this, there could be some kind of big break where either a new income stream or perhaps just a nice lordly bounty of wealth is going to be offered through an unexpected corner of your field or of your job, or maybe through your clientele. Something that you might not necessarily, well, it might not be self-evident, right? It's unexpected. Don't look for affirmation for it right now if you're watching this in January. February, that doesn't make any goddamn sense. This is, however, going to create a pleasant surprise, because what happens between the 12th and the 22nd is a new story is getting seeded. Right? It doesn't all begin and end between the 12th and the 22nd. It gets started between the 12th and the 22nd. And this could actually be a new way to generate wealth on top of what you already have, something very easy, something inventive, again, something very experimental. And this could also be something that takes you down a much more lucrative road henceforth, where it's almost like you've got a completely new income stream, almost like a completely new paycheck on top of what you've already been working with that stacks. Very, very cool energy here in the middle of February for you Libra people. Now to wrap up, we always talk about the lunations, right? The new moon and the full moon of the month. And so here we go. We've got a new moon in Aquarius, your 5th house of love, romance, and creativity and pleasure and recreation and parenthood on the 1st of the month. And so this opens up a 2-week window period between the 1st and the 15th for a new beginning, a new cycle, and a new story to get started. This absolutely is a wonderful time for those of you that are looking to perhaps put yourselves out there, meet somebody new, and engage in the beginnings of planting a seed for a new romantic relationship. For those of you that are currently involved and in an existing relationship, this is going to be a time where this new moon is sending this relationship in a new direction, something that is much more current than maybe a goal or an aspiration that you and a partner have maintained or chased for a long time. This could actually be a big lane shift, a big trajectory shift for you. And this could be something that takes you off the path you've been on with your partner. And again, reorienting you both in a direction that is more compatible with who you are now versus the goal that was compatible with you back when. This is also a great time for a lot of you who've been thinking about maybe monetizing a creative hobby or an artistic talent. And even, yes, for those of you that may be thinking about trying to expand your family, grow your family, have a child, or maybe even bring in a pet. The first half of the month is presenting a very, very supportive window for that as well. Finally, we have a full moon in Leo on the 16th of the month, which is going to create a 2-week window that covers the second half of February. Now, this is your 11th house of friendships and social networking, right? So the guys, the girls, your fellows, your platonic support system. But a full moon is all about endings, culminations, and transitions. And it may be that for some of you Libra people, that at the end of this month, we realize that we have to break with somebody or possibly a group that no longer is actually an asset, but possibly even proving to be a detriment in your life in some way. Sometimes this is not necessarily an energy that is a big surprise. In fact, this person at the time of my recording this mid-January could be already somebody in your life that's already hanging by a thread. But I feel like a lot of you may actually be doing kind of a friendship breakup with somebody or maybe multiple people at the second half of February because of something that either they do or something that they won't stop. And again, this is the 11th house, so we are definitely looking at more of the platonic. Again, this is going to be one of the guys, it's going to be one of the girls, it's going to be one of your fellows, but it may be something that we've already seen coming, but it may be a boundary or a clearing that is long overdue. So that is what I've got for you Libra people. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And should you ever want to get a session with me, go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.